the real reason your miracle is on hold. You asked for this. You've wept over it. You have begged God this countless times. And yet, nothing. The phone is silent. The test comes back the same. The door you keep banging on remains shut. And without your knowledge, at a place in you you would never speak out loud, a question begins to grow. Is God even paying attention? Maybe it's a marriage you're struggling to save, a youngster who walked away, a healing, a job, that yes you've waited months for. And this quiet is beginning to seem like an answer, like a nope. But what if the delay is not God ignoring you? What if the delay is the miracle? There is a period in the Bible where Jesus heard that somebody he loved very much was dying, and on deliberately he waited. That's why you can't quit tonight, because of what he did next. So stick with me. The man who was dying was called Lazarus. He was one of Jesus' best friends. His sisters convey an urgent message. Lord, the one you love is sick. Of course he will be here. He adores them, right? Read what the Bible really says, since it is nearly frightening. John chapter 11. And Jesus loved Martha, and her sister, and Lazarus. So when he learned that Lazarus was unwell, he remained there 2 days longer. Go back and read it. It was because he loved them that he stayed, not but. So, his love was not the antithesis of waiting, for he loved. And if you've ever thought, if God really loved me, he'd have answered by now. See how backward that can be. By the time Jesus arrives, it is too late. Lazarus has been dead for 4 days, and Martha comes rushing out and says the very thing your heart has been whispering. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. If you'd just shown up on time. That's no rebellion. What a pity. And Jesus doesn't shame her for that for even a second. If this is already speaking to you, go ahead and tap like. It really helps this reach someone else who needs it tonight. And here's the question that changes everything. Why, if Jesus could have healed Lazarus with a word, did he wait until it was, by any standards, too late? A mending and a resurrection aren't the same thing, because if he had come early, everyone comments, what a nice recovery, a little miracle. But Jesus was after something much, far bigger than that, which needed the delay. He allowed it to reach the point of hopelessness, so that there was no way that what he did next could be written off as luck or timing. And maybe that's the portion of your situation that God is protecting right now. If the answer had come the second you wanted it, you would have labeled it a near miss. But certain things God wants to do so badly, they're so unmistakably him, that they can only happen when you've come to the place where you can't fix it yourself anymore. Now, let me gently challenge something you may have been taught. Many people, silently, believe that delay equals disqualification, that if God hasn't answered, it must be some hidden fault, some prayer you said wrong. But Lazarus did nothing wrong. His sisters had not mispronounced the magic words. They were adored. They were faithful. They waited 4 impossible days. So, if you've been beating yourself up, thinking the delay is your punishment, hear this. Sometimes it is not discipline at all. Sometimes it is training. So what is God doing in the waiting? Here's one response, right out of the book of Habakkuk. And God says concerning the very thing you are waiting on, wait for it, though it linger. It will certainly come and will not delay. Did you catch the funny sentence just before that? A set time. Your miracle is not delayed. It has an appointment. A train 3 stops away is not a broken train. What feels like lingering is actually going toward a definite point you just can't see yet. But why does it feel so slow if his timing is perfect? The Apostle Peter confronts it head on. The Lord is not sluggish in keeping his promise, as some understand delay. Instead, he is patient with you, What appears to be slowness is patience. The wait isn't empty. It's full of things God is doing that you can't see yet. Quick question. What's the one thing you've been waiting on God for? The thing you almost quit praying about? Drop it in the comments below. One word. Someone reading needs to know they are not the only one waiting still. And Scripture doesn't simply urge, wait. It says, don't quit. Galatians, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. There it is again, the right moment. The crop is guaranteed, but it gets to the ones who don't run just before it reaches to the surface. So now, back to the tomb. Jesus comes to the grave of the friend he let die, and before Jesus lifts him, the Bible preserves the shortest, most astounding verse in the account. 2 words, Jesus wept. He was not cold in the delay. He was never distant. The God who waited stood at the tomb and wept with them. So if you've worried that your delay is a sign that God doesn't care, look at those 2 words. And then he raises Lazarus, alive, 4 days dead, walking back to the light. The delay didn't cancel out the miraculous. It made it the sort of miracle nobody would ever forget. That's what you could be waiting for. Not a no, not as a punishment, a larger yes than you were looking for. So tonight, when it gets silent, and the answer still hasn't come, and the question crawls back in, is God listening? Recall the word, so loved them. So he waited. The delay was never the lack of his affection. That was the shape of it. If this provided you some serenity tonight, subscribe, so the next one finds you precisely when you need it. And don't go away. If your faith has been tested by holding on so long, watch the one on your screen next. It's about what to do when you're too fatigued to even pray.